4,000 feet above sea level. The air up here is thin. It is freezing. And it is silent, except for the sound of a single Honda motocross engine revving. Sitting on that bike is a man. He is wearing a black helmet, breathing heavily. He checks his gloves. He checks his boots. He is not a stuntman. He is not a 5-year-old daredevil with nothing to lose. He is a 8-year-old billionaire. He is the most valuable asset in Hollywood. And he is about to do something that defies every law of physics, logic, and self-preservation. Below him lies a ramp. Beyond the ramp, nothing. Just a sheer drop into a canyon of jagged rocks. If he miscalculates the speed by 1 mile per hour, he hits the wall. If he opens the parachute 2 seconds too late, he is dead. There are no green screens here. There are no wires. There is no second take. The director screams, "Action!" The engine screams. The tires tear into the dirt. He accelerates. 30 miles per hour. 40. 50. He hits the ramp. The bike leaves the earth. For 6 seconds, Tom Cruise is flying. He lets go of the bike. It plummets into the abyss. He is falling through the air, a tiny black dot against the massive gray mountains. The wind is tearing at his face at 100 miles per hour. Most men, in this moment, would feel terror. But look at the replay. Look at his body language as he falls. He is calm. He is calculating. He is checking his altimeter. He is positioning his body to catch the air. He isn't just falling. He is flying. The parachute opens. The snap echoes through the valley. He lands safely. Why? Why does a man who has everything, hundreds of millions of dollars, fame, power, risk turning himself into a stain on a rock? Is it adrenaline? Is it ego? Or is it something darker? Is he jumping off cliffs because it's the only time he feels truly in control? Or is he trying to outrun something that has been chasing him since he was a terrified little boy in Syracuse, New York? That jump wasn't just a stunt for a movie. It was a psychological declaration. Tom Cruise is screaming to the universe, "I am not mortal. I will not age, and I will not be broken." Tom Cruise. The name itself is a brand. It means the smile, the aviator sunglasses, the sprint, the sheer, unadulterated willpower. For 40 years, he has been the savior of cinema. When Hollywood was dying, choked by superheroes and CGI, he was the one who strapped himself into a fighter jet and saved the box office with his bare hands. He is the last movie star, the golden boy who never grew up. But step closer to the poster. Look behind the sunglasses. Who is he? Really? He is the most famous man on earth, yet he is a ghost. He laughs on talk shows. He jumps on couches. He shakes every hand on the red carpet. He makes you feel like the most important person in the room. But there is a glass wall between him and the rest of humanity. He is a father who hasn't been photographed with his daughter, Suri, in over a decade. He is the face of a controversial religion that many call a dangerous cult. He is a man who demands absolute perfection from everyone around him, screaming at crew members if a safety protocol is breached. This is the great paradox of Tom Cruise. He saves the world in every movie, but in real life, he seems trapped in a fortress of his own making. Is he the hero? Or is he the prisoner? Is that famous smile a genuine expression of joy? Or is it the most expensive mask ever created? We often mistake control for confidence. Tom Cruise exudes confidence, but in the next hour, we are going to argue that his entire life is a reaction to trauma. We are going to explore the engine that drives him. It is not greed. It is not vanity. It is an intense, paralyzing fear of being helpless. We will trace the lines from the abusive father who beat him, to the dyslexia that humiliated him, to the religion that promised him he could be a god. We will see that every stunt, every dangerous jump, every blockbuster is an attempt to prove that he cannot be hurt again. He conquers gravity because he cannot conquer the past. We will answer the question that has haunted Hollywood for decades. Does Tom Cruise control Hollywood? Or does the machinery of his belief system control him? This is not a story about movies. This is a story about the terrifying cost of perfection. Hello, storytellers. Welcome back. Think about the faces on your bedroom wall growing up. In the 80 seconds, he was the reckless pilot in Top Gun. In the 90 seconds, he was the moral agent in Jerry Maguire. In the 2000s, he was the unstoppable spy in Mission Impossible. Generations have changed. Presidents have changed. Technology has changed. But Tom Cruise remains. He is an anomaly, a glitch in the matrix of time. At an age where most actors retire to play grandfathers, he is hanging off the side of an Airbus, a 400M. But why? What is he running towards? Or more importantly, what is he running from? Today, we are going to look past the box office numbers. We are going beyond the tabloids and the rumors. We are going to dissect the mind of the most intense man in show business. From the poverty of his childhood to the secretive corridors of the Scientology Center. Strap in. Check your parachute. This is the story of the Savior versus the prisoner. Let's begin. To understand the Savior, you must first meet the monster. Long before the world knew him as Tom Cruise, he was Thomas Cruise Mapother IV, born in 1962 into a life that looked normal from the outside, but was a war zone on the inside. His father, Thomas Mapother III, was an electrical engineer, but inside the house, Tom described him differently. He called him a merchant of chaos, a bully, a coward. Imagine being a 7-year-old boy. You are small. You are vulnerable. And the person who is supposed to protect you is the source of your terror. Tom learned a brutal lesson very early. The world is not safe. The people who say they love you can hurt you. He described it vividly. If something goes wrong, they kick you. It was a great lesson in my life. How he'd lull you in, make you feel safe. And then, this was the architecture of his childhood. Unpredictability. The family was constantly on the run, not from the law, but from poverty and his father's instability. By the time Tom was 14, he had attended 15 different schools in 12 years. Think about that. 15 times being the new kid. 15 times walking into a cafeteria where you don't know a soul. 15 times having to defend yourself against bullies who smell fear on the new arrival. He didn't have roots. He didn't have a hometown. He only had his survival instincts. He learned to read rooms instantly. He learned to be charming to disarm enemies. He learned to be a chameleon. But the abuse wasn't the only demon chasing him. There was something else. A glitch in his own brain that made him feel stupid, worthless, and broken. In the classroom, Tom faced a different kind of torture. He was functionally illiterate. He had severe dyslexia. When he looked at a page of text, the letters didn't stand still. They danced. They flipped. B looked like D. Sentences became scrambled codes. He remembers raising his hand in class, hoping the teacher wouldn't pick him. The sweat on his palms, the racing heart. When he was forced to read aloud, he would stumble. The other kids would snicker. The teacher would sigh. He was placed in remedial classes. He was labeled slow. He felt, in his own words, like a functional illiterate. Try to imagine the shame. You know you are smart. You have energy burning inside you, but the system tells you that you are broken. This created a deep, cavernous hole in his self-esteem, a hole that he would spend the rest of his life trying to fill with achievement. He decided that if he couldn't outread them, he would outwork them. If he couldn't learn from books, he would learn by doing. He developed a photographic memory out of necessity. He didn't read scripts. He visualized them. But before he found acting, he tried to find salvation in God. At 14, he entered a seminary. He wanted to be a Franciscan priest. He took a vow of poverty. He shaved his head. He wanted to wash away the sins of his father. He wanted peace. But peace is not for men like Tom Cruise. The fire inside him was too hot for a monastery. He was kicked out after a year, rumor has it, for stealing liquor. The priest was gone. The actor was about to be born. But first, he had to break. This is the moment the switch flipped. The year is 1981. Tom is 19 years old. He has moved to New York with nothing but a duffel bag and a desperation that smelled like gasoline. He waits tables. He sleeps on floors. He is hungry. He gets an audition for a movie called Taps. It's a military drama about cadets who take over their school. The director, Harold Becker, is looking for extras, background actors. Tom walks into the room. He is wearing a denim jacket with no shirt underneath. His hair is cropped short from a previous role. His muscles are coiled tight. He isn't acting. He is vibrating with an intensity that feels dangerous. Becker asks him to read a scene. Tom doesn't just read it. He attacks it. He paces the room like a caged animal. He locks eyes with the director and doesn't blink. The air in the room changes pressure. Harold Becker later said, "He terrified me. He was so intense. I thought he might hit me." Tom didn't get the role of the extra. Becker was so shaken, so mesmerized by this kid's raw energy, that he rewrote the script. He created a new character, David Shawn, the craziest, most violent cadet in the movie, specifically for Tom Cruise. Watch the final scene of Taps. Tom is manning a machine gun in a tower. The army is firing at him. He is screaming, firing back, laughing maniacally as the bullets tear the room apart. That wasn't acting. That was the boy from Syracuse screaming back at his father. That was the dyslexic kid screaming back at his teachers. It was pure, unadulterated rage channeled into art. He realized in that machine gun tower that he possessed a weapon no one else had: intensity. He could focus his will like a laser beam. While other actors were thinking about their lines, Tom was thinking about domination. He didn't want to be in the movie. He wanted to own the movie. Let's pause and analyze the engine of this machine. Why did Tom Cruise succeed when thousands of other pretty boys failed? The lesson here is the alchemy of trauma. Most people are crushed by an abusive childhood. They shrink. They hide. They spend their lives apologizing for existing. Tom Cruise did the opposite. He used his trauma as a battery. His father taught him that the world is dangerous. Fine. Then he would become the most dangerous thing in it. His dyslexia taught him he was slow. Fine. Then he would work faster and harder than any human being on set. He developed a mechanism of overcompensation. Because he felt powerless as a child, he demanded absolute control as an adult. Because he couldn't read the words, he memorized the entire script, and everyone else's lines too. This is the secret of the Cruise intensity. It is not natural talent. It is the desperate, clawing need to prove that he is not the useless boy his father said he was. He learned that if you want to be safe, you have to be the best. Not just good, the best. You have to be the one flying the jet. You have to be the one hanging off the cliff. Because if you are the one in control of the danger, then the danger can't hurt you. But this level of control comes with a terrible price. Tom Cruise had conquered Hollywood, but he was about to meet an organization that promised him the one thing he couldn't achieve on his own: the power to fix his broken soul. Enter Scientology. By the mid-1990 seconds, Tom Cruise was not just a movie star. He was a solar system. Everything in Hollywood orbited around him. He demanded and received a level of power that no actor had ever held before. He didn't just act. He produced. He controlled the marketing. He approved the co-stars. He approved the scripts. If Tom Cruise sneezed, the studio executives handed him a tissue made of $100 bills. He was married to Nicole Kidman. They were the golden couple. Beautiful, talented, untouchable. But behind the red carpet photos, the control freak born from that abusive childhood in Syracuse was tightening his grip. Tom didn't just want to control his career. He wanted to control the universe. And he found the tool to do it in a controversial belief system, Scientology. He didn't just join the church. He became its poster boy, its messiah. The church told him exactly what he wanted to hear. You are not broken. You are superior. They told him his dyslexia wasn't a defect. It was a symptom of a suppressed spirit. They told him he could have superpowers, that he could heal himself, that he could control matter, energy, and time. For a man terrified of being helpless, this was the ultimate drug. He swallowed the red pill, and the Tom Cruise we knew began to disappear. The first casualty was his marriage. Nicole Kidman was raised Catholic. Her father was a psychologist, the very profession Scientology despises. The church labeled her a suppressive person, an enemy, and Tom, the man who vowed to love her forever. He chose the system over the woman. The divorce in 2001 was cold, calculated, brutal. He walked away with the kids. He walked away with the power. He was alone at the top of the mountain, but the air up there was getting thin, and he was starting to hallucinate. Power without accountability is a dangerous thing. By 2004, Tom Cruise had removed anyone in his life who could tell him no. He fired Pat Kingsley, his legendary publicist, who had protected his image for 14 years. Why? Because she wanted him to focus on movies, not religion. He replaced her with his own sister, a fellow believer. He surrounded himself with yes men and handlers who treated him like a deity. When you live in an echo chamber, you lose touch with reality. You start to believe that your truth is the truth. You start to believe that you know better than doctors, better than psychiatrists, better than mothers. The filter was gone. The mask was slipping, and the world was about to see what happens when a Thetan goes to war with the modern world. The year 2005. This is the year the savior became the villain. It began on a yellow couch. The Oprah Winfrey Show. We all know the clip. Tom Cruise jumping on the couch, shaking. Oprah screaming about his love for Katie Holmes. At the time, we laughed. It looked like joy. But look closer. Look at the eyes. There is nothing behind them but manic, frantic energy. It didn't look like love. It looked like a performance. It looked like a man trying desperately to convince the world and himself that he was happy. It was synthetic. It was terrifying. But the couch jump was just the warm-up. The real crash happened a few weeks later, June 24, 2005. The Today Show with Matt Lauer. Tom sat down to promote War of the Worlds, but he didn't want to talk about aliens. He wanted to talk about psychiatry. Brooke Shields, a beloved actress, had recently opened up about her postpartum depression and how medication saved her life. Tom Cruise decided to attack her. He looked into the camera, his face a mask of cold fury, and said, "There is no such thing as a chemical imbalance." He called psychiatry a pseudoscience. When Matt Lauer tried to argue, Tom snapped. The charm evaporated. The smile turned into a snarl. "You don't know the history of psychiatry." "I do. You're glib, Matt. You're glib." The silence in that studio was deafening. America watched in horror. This wasn't Maverick. This wasn't Jerry Maguire. This was a bully. This was a man who felt he had the right to tell a woman how she should feel about her own body and mind. He lectured. He scolded. He looked at Matt Lauer, and by extension, the audience, with pure contempt. In that 10-minute interview, 30 years of goodwill evaporated. The nice guy image was dead. The media turned on him. Paramount Pictures, the studio he built, fired him. Sumner Redstone, the head of Viacom, said publicly his behavior is unacceptable to the studio. Think about that. The biggest star in the world was fired, not because his movies flopped, but because people were afraid of him. He retreated to his mansion. The walls closed in. He had preached total freedom, but he had become a prisoner of his own dogma. He was the most powerful actor in Hollywood, yet he had become a national punchline. The loneliness of that moment must have been crushing. To believe you are saving the world, only to have the world laugh in your face. Let's stop the tape. We need to dissect the psychology of this crash. Why did a master of PR destroy his own reputation? The lesson here is about the trap of absolute certainty. Tom Cruise failed because he stopped asking questions and started giving orders. He fell into the trap that catches many powerful men, the belief that because you are a genius in one area, making movie, you are a genius in all areas: medicine, psychology, life. The abyss for Tom Cruise wasn't poverty. It wasn't drugs. It was isolation. When you cut out everyone who disagrees with you, you don't create harmony. You create a hallucination. He believed he possessed secret knowledge that the rest of us were too stupid to understand. This arrogance blinded him. He forgot the very thing that made him a star: his humanity, his vulnerability. In Jerry Maguire, he won us over because he was a mess. In 2005, he tried to be a god. And humans don't like gods who judge them. He realized, perhaps too late, that you can control the box office. You can control the lighting. You can control the stunts. But you cannot control how people feel about you. And when the applause stopped, Tom Cruise was left with $1 billion and a belief system that told him he was right, even as the rest of the world walked away. But Tom Cruise is not a man who stays down. He is a machine designed to run. He realized he couldn't win the argument with words. So he decided to do the one thing he knew he could control. He decided to risk his life. He decided that if he couldn't make us love him, he would force us to watch him die trying. They say that rock bottom is the solid foundation on which you rebuild your life. For Tom Cruise, rock bottom was a PR disaster that would have ended any other career. After 2005, the strategy changed. The chatty Tom disappeared. The man who lectured Matt Lauer vanished. In his place, a machine emerged. He realized he couldn't win the argument with words. The world didn't want his philosophy. They didn't want his religion. They wanted his sweat. They wanted his blood. So, he made a cold, calculated decision. I will become the greatest stuntman in the history of cinema. I will do things no insurance company should allow. I will make myself indispensable. He strapped himself to the side of the Burj Khalifa in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. He held his breath for 6 minutes underwater in Rogue Nation. He broke his ankle, jumping across rooftops in Fallout, and kept running on the broken bone to finish the shot. He commodified his own mortality. He told the audience, I am willing to die to entertain you. And it worked. We stopped laughing at him. We started respecting him again. We watched in awe as this man in his 50 seconds outworked every 20-year-old in the business. But while he was conquering the box office, he was losing his home. In 2012, Katie Holmes filed for divorce. It was a surgical strike, planned in secret to protect their daughter, Suri, from the influence of Scientology. Tom didn't see it coming. For the third time, a marriage collapsed. And this time, he lost more than a wife. He effectively lost his relationship with his daughter. He made a choice that most fathers couldn't fathom. He chose his mission. He chose his faith. He chose the greater good over the intimate love of a child. He became the last samurai, a warrior with a code so strict that it isolated him from the very humanity he swore to protect. This brings us to the defining moment of his legacy, the moment he earned the title the Savior. The year is 2020. The world is locked down. The COVID-19 pandemic has shut down civilization. Movie theaters are empty. They are going bankrupt. Studios are panicking. They are selling their biggest movies to streaming services. Warner Brothers, Disney. Everyone is dumping blockbusters onto HBO Max and Disney+. The theatrical experience is dying. The experts say, cinema is over. The future is digital. Tom Cruise has a movie ready. Top Gun, Maverick. The studio executives come to him. They say, Tom, we need to release this on streaming. We can't wait. We need the money. Amazon and Netflix offer hundreds of millions of dollars for the rights. It is easy money, safe money. But Tom Cruise says, no. He picks up his phone. He calls the heads of the studio. He calls the theater owners. He says, I make movies for the big screen. We wait. He held the line for 2 years. 2 years of delays. 2 years of pressure. He bet his reputation and the studio's fortune on the belief that people still wanted to sit in a dark room together and dream. May 2022. The movie is finally released. Cannes Film Festival. French fighter jets streak across the sky, painting the air red, white, and blue. Tom Cruise walks the red carpet, receiving a surprise Palme d'Or. He looks at the crowd, tears in his eyes. But the real victory was in the numbers. Top Gun, Maverick didn't just make money. It made $5 billion. It brought people back to the theaters who hadn't been in a decade. Old people, young people, red states, blue states. Steven Spielberg, the most famous director alive, found Tom at an Oscars luncheon. He grabbed him by the shoulders and said, "Loud enough for everyone to hear? You saved Hollywood's ass. And you might have saved theatrical distribution." Tom Cruise didn't just star in a movie. He single-handedly resuscitated an entire industry. He proved that an algorithm cannot replace a star. He proved that green screens cannot replace reality. He was the last man standing on the wall, defending the magic of the movies. So, what is the final lesson from the life of Thomas Cruise Mapother 4? It is a lesson about the cost of mastery. We look at his life, and we see the jets, the billions, the applause. We call it success. But look closer. Success at this level requires a monomaniacal focus that burns everything else to ash. To be the savior of cinema, he had to give up being a normal father. To be the eternal action hero, he had to give up the comfort of aging. To be the perfect Scientologist, he had to give up his own family. The lesson is this: you can have it all, but you cannot keep it all. Greatness demands a sacrifice. For Tom, the sacrifice was intimacy. He belongs to the world now, not to any one person. He is like the fighter pilots he plays. He is most comfortable in the air, moving at Mach 10, where no one can touch him, no one can hurt him, and he is in total control. He leaves us with a complicated question. Is it worth it? To save the industry, but lose the home. To be loved by billions, but truly known by none. Only Tom knows the answer. But as long as there is a camera rolling, as long as there is a stunt to be performed, he will not stop. He cannot stop. Because if he stops, the silence might finally catch up with him. So, as the credits roll on the life of Thomas Cruise Mapother IV, what are we left with? We don't just see a movie star. We see a masterclass in survival and a cautionary tale about the cost of control. We started with the Merchant of Chaos, the terrified boy who learned the alchemy of trauma. He taught us that pain is energy. If you can channel your fear, you can turn a disability like dyslexia into a superpower of focus. He proved that you don't need to be born brave. You just need to be more afraid of failure than you are of dying. We walked with him through the fire of 2005, where he fell into the trap of certainty. We saw how the need for absolute control can build a prison of isolation. He taught us a hard lesson. You can be the most powerful man in the room, but if you stop listening to others, you are just talking to a ghost in the mirror. And finally, we saw The Last Samurai, The man who paid the cost of mastery. He sacrificed his privacy, his marriage, and his relationship with his own child to save an industry. He taught us that greatness is not a gift. It is a transaction. You trade your normalcy for immortality. Tom Cruise is the ultimate paradox. He is the savior who cannot save himself. He is the man who conquered gravity, but can never touch the ground. My friends, looking at Tom's relentless sprint, I want to offer you a thought. We all want control. We all want to be the hero of our own movie. We all want to be Maverick. But there is a beauty in being human that Tom Cruise seems to have forgotten. It is okay to be messy. It is okay to be wrong. It is okay to be average sometimes. You don't have to jump off a cliff to prove you are alive. You don't have to fix everything. The strongest thing you can do isn't holding on to the wing of an airplane. It is holding the hand of someone you love and admitting that you are scared. Perfection is a mask, and masks are heavy. So, every once in a while, take it off. Put down the controls and just breathe. The world will keep spinning without you saving it. And that is a beautiful thing. I want to know your verdict. Is Tom Cruise the greatest movie star of all time? Or is he a tragic figure trapped in his own myth? And be honest, do you admire his dedication? Or does it terrify you? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's debate the legacy of the last movie star. I read every single one. If this deep dive gave you a new perspective on the man behind the sunglasses, please hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us keep these stories alive. And if you enjoyed this story about an action legend who fought his way from the bottom, you absolutely must watch our video on his greatest rival, Sylvester Stallone, the bum versus the hero. It is the perfect counter story, where Tom hid his pain behind perfection. Stallone wore his scars like a badge of honor. Two different paths to immortality. Click right here to watch it now. Thank you for spending your time with us. I'm Peter. I'll see you in the movies. Dismissed.